Come on. Let's go, mate. Oh. Hundred. Good boy. Actually got started on this and I thought, I might as well film it. Haven't done any filming in a while. Actually, no, that's not true. I've been filming a lot and I'll roll in some cool footage. But I did this injury recently, which is why now I've got time to potentially do some editing. I don't know if you can see that bruising there. No good. Anyway, tore my entire hamstring, all 3 muscles off my pelvis, which kind of sucks. Yeah, but anyway, about 16 years ago, I think that's the reason why I started doing some videos. Actually, I had time on my hands and I was in hospital when I built, what did I build in hospital? I started building a DTO2 Sand Viper, which had been sitting around. So yeah, just had some time. I'm going to do this build here. This is a Tamiya Avante. I've been building real cars and things like that. Recently, putting together some old Toyotas, which require a lot of work, and I'm not actually finished, but my leg's done for this season, so I'll be I'll be building toy cars for a little while. In any case, I'll roll in some cool footage. Managed to get one done, which is a neat car, a bit of a track car. We're relocated here to the South Island, which is nice. There's a couple of really neat tracks, race tracks within under an hour in either direction from where I am here, which is neat. Built a track in the backyard. One of the first things we did when we moved out. My wife Kelly, she's she's a keeper. But I mean, she said, "Oh yeah, great idea. Put a track in the backyard." It actually had a really nice lawn in the back, so I was kind of hesitant at first to do it. But I managed to get hold of a tool called a turf removal tool, which is really neat. I'll roll on the footage. I'd never used one before. I didn't want to get like a digger in, earth moving equipment or anything like that, because the whole thing, if you do that, if you get you can think, oh, I'm going to be careful and this and that, but no, the whole thing just turns into a bog, like it turns into the Somme if you get a digger in there. So I didn't want to do that. Got a turf removal tool. Turf removal tool is like this big heavy machine, and it's self-driven. So you know it's got a motor that drives the wheels forward, and it's sort of a clutch system, and it has this big blade that goes down at an adjustable depth and oscillates back and forth when you release it, and cuts underneath the turf, like cuts the grass underneath the turf. Most people, I don't think will know what one is, but if you're familiar with it, it's an awesome machine. If you're doing a track and you've got a grass lawn, 100% I recommend it, because I'll roll on the footage. It just ends up really tidy, and then you can use the lawn somewhere else, like what we did. But in any case, I did the track like 1.3, 1.4 wide. I'll end up probably doing it a little bit wider because it's a bit, I don't know, I think it needs a little bit more width so you can sort of adjust your line a bit more. There's no jumps on it yet. I've just left it for a month while it's settling down, put the compactor over it. It's pretty nice. But yeah, so this will be the first thing I run on that, which I think is kind of cool because I haven't built one before, and they're just an excellent looking kit. I mean, I love the blister packaging, it looks awesome. I mean, can't beat it, it's awesome. The Tamiya Avante was, I think it wasn't actually very good back in the day. It wasn't competitive. I think it was overly complex, probably a bit heavy. When I look at the front end design, yeah, I mean, you just don't need a front end that looks like that. But it's got some cool features as well. Definitely, I mean, it's an awesome looking, from a mechanical point of view, it's a great looking kit. I mean, and looks really nice too. All the pillow ball joints look awesome, the rose joints, and yeah, it looks sweet. It's got the high capacity shocks, aluminium dampers, quite neat. I think a ball diff from standard. It's got these, I think these are like brass uprights. Maybe they're just anodized aluminium, don't know. But very nice. The whole kit's real nice. So I don't care. I'm gonna race it still. Of course, I'm gonna race it in the pre-1989 vintage open class, which is still restricted to the motor that you use, 27 turn only. So gearing will be a bit of a trick with this. But at the same time, it's not going to be, you know, all things being equal, it's not going to be competitive anyway. You're racing the likes of some really neat buggies, non-plastic. I mean, Kyosho, Turbo, Optima, Mid, and I think even the Mid Special was pre-1989. Man, that's an awesome kit. Kyosho are awesome, they make some cool kits. But I've been appreciating Tamiya recently, you know, and Kyosho, the Japanese companies with their re-release kits. It's really neat. They're really true to the originals, and Kyosho especially, they do upgrade some things, but they're really tastefully done. Like they just do the things that need to be done to enhance it, and not really to stray away from the originality of it, which I think people appreciate. But I believe this particular one, the 2011 Avante, I think it's pretty close to the original car. Still got the cool, flawed but cool cam lock wheel system and other bits and pieces. So very neat. Can't wait to drive it on the track. It'll probably need a lot of adjustment to get some sort of a pace out of it, but whatever. Got a nice little servo. I like these servos, pretty cool. I won't be running this motor, I just pop that on the mount just to see what it looks like, but that's the special motor that comes with it. Avante 2011 special. But it's just a, yeah, look, it's just a GT tuned, which I think is a 25 turn, adjustable, pretty neat little motor, but I won't be running that. I'll just run a standard silver can. But yeah, pretty fun. I'll roll in some footage from the track day I did recently before I had my injury at the local track, Euromark Raceway, which is Ruapuna in Christchurch. That's been a fun track to attend. Great clubs down here too, great motorsport clubs. A really good balance of track time and just getting on with the day, but also safety as well. They certainly don't, there's not a lot of dithering here. It's like going back in time in a good way, and a lot of features in the South Island. I think people don't have time to, a lot of people down here don't have time to piss around, or they don't sort of tolerate it the same. A lot of the North Island events I've gone to, there's a lot of dithering before you actually get out on track. Which a lot of times, you know, officials and things telling you how to suck eggs. But in any case, I don't mind it. Anything to do with safety is also always very important, but there's a balance that you've got to meet, and you've got to find that balance in order to keep everybody happy. But we've got attendance down here for all the club sport events, rally events, gravel and autocross events, pretty fun, hill climbs, and yeah, drifting events, which I've been attending. So the cars that I've been running at the drifting events are old Toyota AEA6s, so I've got 2 of those, and another couple of things in bits, but that's been kind of fun too, to be honest. Like when I think about Tamiya and they're doing their re-release kits, Toyota's kind of neat too. They've been releasing a lot of old parts for these old cars which are popular. So the AEA6 platform has got a big following, kind of worldwide I suppose, but especially in Japan. And so they've actually been re-releasing sort of various parts of the AEA6 car sort of throughout the years. So recent years I've just been releasing a few every year. I think this year they actually released the entire engine block, which is a pretty big deal, and it shows their sort of commitment to keeping that those enthusiasts sort of alive with the Toyota program, Heritage program, which is neat because otherwise, you know, just old parts. It's the same as RC, you know. Before there was the re-releases were prolific, you know. Vintage racing was kind of just an attrition sort of deal where whoever's buggy would be left like going at the end due to just not crashing or anything, sometimes just due to just disintegration of parts and a failure of things. No, it's nice. It's nice to have re-releases. It's nice to have these brands acknowledge the enthusiasm that people have for their old models, which is cool. So Toyota's good at that. This is the gauge cluster actually off a AE6. I've got to go ahead and change the kilometres on this because I got a gauge cluster as a replacement for the one that I've got in one of my cars because it's fried on the back. So I'm thinking rather than replace the fried, but I'll probably just replace this entire good condition cluster. It's pre-facelift, it's all correct. So I'll just go ahead and do that, but I'll just have to adjust the Ks before I do that, which is a bit of a fiddly job if you want them to still work afterwards. So it's on the to-do list. Highly illegal. Actually, it's not highly illegal. I think to adjust the kilometres are digitally recorded. That car in particular has been in storage for like, how many years? Since 1999, which is not yesterday. That's a long time ago now. So it needed a lot of parts. I'll roll on the footage. Quite neat, quite a neat car. Cool to sort of bring back from the dead. But it did take a lot of hard work and components, and I'll roll on some footage too of some of the car had been abused in its previous life. So it wasn't a rusty car, but it had been sort of punished a fair bit, and so the underside was pretty beaten up. They've not made it much. AE6s are very light, and so yeah, the entire chassis and sort of stuff underneath, it's all just pressed metal, but it's, you know, prone to, if you punish them over sort of rocks and ripple strips, they get beaten up pretty bad. So this was in a bad way. So I got a couple of really talented dudes to work on that car to do some work, get the engine going, and the wiring and things like that, and also the underbody to get that work straightened up. It's actually turned out real good. In any case, I'm going to build this, probably take some more painkillers, and hopefully don't make too many mistakes. Turn that down 2 seconds. So, this is something you don't usually want to see when you're building a kit. Get the Dremel out. Don't worry, I'm not going to Dremel the kit. I've just noticed, and it may be because I'm doing something wrong, I've just noticed that I've got a bit of an issue here. This is a standard silver can motor. I thought for a moment maybe it's longer than a Tamiya silver can, but it's not. It's not longer. It's the same length. In fact, it's actually a little bit shorter than the standard Tamiya silver can. Right here it is, yeah, the standard Tamiya silver can is actually a little bit longer than this. Anyway, it's fouling. And I can't see that I've put it together wrong, which is usually where problems occur with these things, is you don't look at the instructions and you put them together wrong and then you have an issue. But I don't think it's the case with this. It's fouling right here on the carbon, on the chassis. So I'm only running a 22 tooth pinion. You see on the adjustment here, we are towards the outside of that adjustment. So I think you would typically run smaller pinions than this, but the point is we're not running smaller pinions, we're running quite a slow motor, so we need, well, to be honest, the kit pinion is 22 teeth right here. and that's the one we're using. So we're not doing anything out of the ordinary. So I think you can probably fit the adjustment in this bell is probably up to probably 23, 24 tooth potentially with the standard spur, but regardless. Okay, so we're using kit pinion, which is 22 tooth. I've cranked it over here so it's got a good amount of on the motor. It's currently got a good amount of pinion and spur gear connection. It's not bounding up, it's not too tight, it's not too loose, it's perfect. I've already set it, but it's fouling right here, so you can see, if you can see that, but this is actually fouling on the motor, on the edge of this motor here, and see you might see it's kicking up like that, and see when I push this down to where it's flat, it actually is kicking the motor over, so it is interfering with the motor. If we were using the kit motor, this one here, you can see it's significantly, well, it's not actually shorter, but it's not as long towards the edges, like it's radiused. So I'm sure that you could orientate this in a way that it wouldn't foul on this, but it would be damn close still. It would still be close. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I've got the Dremel out. I'm actually going to take this off a little bit, clearance it a little bit, and I'm not going to, the thing is the main trailing arm from the link suspension actually goes off this point here. So you don't want to whittle any strength out of this. That wouldn't be the move. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to grind off a little bit of that, the bell of the motor. I mean, it's only a cheap motor and I don't care. And so I'm going to do that. Hopefully that gives us enough clearance that it won't foul on this. Yeah, so we're going to go from there, but I don't like to get the Dremel out, but I don't know that there's another option. I'm sure somebody will tell me, hey, you put it together wrong. I'll own that if I have. But if I modify the motor a little bit, just with a little bit of, give it a little bit of love with the Dremel, should be able to clearance it okay. Get in there. Okay. Mark where it needs to be. Only a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so actually when you see it like this, I'll get a little light so you can see better. Actually, managed to take, well, it's not nothing. It's not nothing at all. Especially when you see it like that. Just cleared, but it is cleared. I didn't want to modify this because see how thin this is? Anyway, so you can see that it's not nothing. Doesn't look great, but I don't have a huge amount of love. Motors are replaceable, but I don't want to modify the chassis. The lesser of two evils. And of course the 27 turn is a class motor. Now I could run, I believe the dirt tune motor is 27 turn, and technically that would be okay because the turns are correct, but when you're racing in a class, you've got to adhere to the rules. If you don't adhere to the rules, like it's a slippery slope, like you leave yourself wide open, especially if you start to do okay. If you're doing rubbish, nobody gives a toss what you're running. They're like, oh yeah, whatever. But if you start to do okay, for whatever reason, then they really start to scrutinize your setup, and fair enough too, you know. Rules are important with class rules because, you know, you break one before you know it, the classes don't mean anything and it's a slippery slope. And so if everybody adheres to the rules, it's usually pretty good. So I'm not going to go to a dirt tuned if I can help it. I'm going to run the proper motor because that way, you know, you're just adhering to the rules. So I don't mind modifying that bell of that motor. Shouldn't impact it at all. Apart from now, there's shavings all over it. No, it's not too bad. So just a little bit of clearancing of that bell. There's plenty of crimps still holding it on. I think I only actually ground in between the two crimps, so no problem. It'll be fine, absolutely fine. And now we've got adequate clearance. But I tell you what, if we need to run a bigger pinion, I need to crank that motor over even more. So I don't know about that. Hopefully I don't have to go to a different motor eventually, but we'll see. Hopefully not. Whatever. We'll cross that bridge. We're going to run it. Hopefully the gearing is okay with this setup. So back together we go. Do this back up. Yep, clearanced. I don't know if you can see that actually. Had to grind some out of the motor. Grind some out of the motor there. Sorry. Whatever. It's clearanced, it's going to work. Okay, job done. Wasn't expecting that, to be honest. Usually Tamiya set their kits up so that you can run stock cans. I am perplexed. Probably because I've done something wrong, but I can't see that I have. Whatever. We press on, is what we do. Okay. So this is what we've got so far, not looking too bad. I'm going super slow. I think it's the amount of painkillers I'm on. But there's a lot of metal to metal fasteners on this thing. I'll just zoom this in a little bit, see what we can see here. Have a good look. A lot of metal to metal fasteners, and if we're going to use this thing on the track, which of course we will, not just a shelfie, we're going to need to make sure that none of these metal to metal fasteners come undone. So I'm using, not too much, but I'm using adequate amounts of Loctite in the right places. You've got to ensure too, when you're using any kind of Loctite, you don't get it anywhere near the plastic. So you can't just sort of lather the whole thing up in Loctite, because it will crystallize the ABS and the different plastics and actually break it down. So don't get any of the Loctite on the plastic, but just going carefully. Had to clearance that motor, that was a pain in the ass, but apart from that, it's coming along pretty cool. It's definitely a fun build, a slow build, but yeah, it's going to take me a few days, I think, just going slow. But I think I've got like, even after my surgery, I got like 6 or 7 weeks off. So definitely no hurry for this build. I've got another like 5 builds to do, so should see me right. But yep, that'll be part 2, I think. Let's get into it. Time for dinner.